Everyone, I've decided to produce a second video on how to find statements by Argentina on a certain topic. Um, that is not a Security Council topic because some of you might say it's easy to research and so on. So I looked at the topics again. I decided to pick a GA second topic, and I decided to go for the topic that I think might be discussed in New York, and that is topic number 3: adapting to globalization, the new international economic order, and the green economy. So a topic that is firmly rooted in the current discussion on sustainable development and the green economy, on what the future development framework and the UN will look like. Um, I'm not going to look at the background guide like I did for the first topic, but one cornerstone in the debate is the Rio Plus 20 conference that took place in 2012 in Rio, and that's a different starting point than just using UNBISnet um, to research statements, namely because the the big conferences that are happening in addition to the normal UN work um, are, to my knowledge at least, not integrated in what UN UNBISnet covers. Um, but at least for the big conferences, they usually have some kind of archives on statements and so on and so forth as well. So I went to the Rio Plus 20 website that is still up and is still up to date in covering new things in the follow-up process and so on. And they have a section on statements. And so I looked there, and it gets us to a search mask. This is where you get when you click statements. It gets us to a search mask where you can search by topics using keywords and so on. And I just looked for hits for Argentina, and the search mask gave me, what is that, 8 statements between 2010 and 2012. So 8 statements by Argentina within the context of the 2012 conference, and you can always see there were statements made on different occasions with regard to different preparatory conferences. So the first example that I decided to look at was the first intersessional meeting, and I clicked on it. You get to this side where you can also look for statements by all the countries, and you get to this very brief short statement made by Argentina in Spanish. So I hope at least some of you speak Spanish. For the others that include me, you should probably resort to Google Translate or any other translation service. In my experience, it does the job okay. Um, and the second example I wanted to look at, and then I thought that had most merit, was the discussion of the zero draft. The What the UN calls zero draft at a big conference, you will hear that or find that document quite often, is the first major draft document that the head of a conference is putting out. So this would be a major discussion, and if you follow up on that, you get to this page, and the statements made. You also get the zero draft and kind of more information on the negotiation process, and you get again the statement by Argentina, again given in Spanish, so you will need to do some translation work, but this is a much more substantive speech, much longer and much more specific, referring to certain paragraphs in the text, certain content of the zero draft. So, for a number of these big conferences, you will find these additional archive pages. But of course, you can also you can and should do research via UNBISnet as well, and of course that works for this topic as well. So again, went to UNBISnet and the index to speeches function, and what I put in as search terms was again country Argentina and actually only sustainable development as the topic. Sustainable development goals gives you only one hit. And searching for Argentina and as the speaker, and the topic of sustainable development gives you around 22 hits, I believe it was. Okay, this is taking a bit too long, but you get a list of results of speeches given by a representative of the Argentinian UN mission on topical debates that had sustainable development in their title. If you look at the resolutions that the UNGA plenary passes every year, there are a number of issues that have sustainable development in their title. So you always should double check, is this actually an aspect of sustainable development that is important for my topic. In this case, it is specifically on the economic order, so the agenda item sustainable development and culture might not be relevant for you as well. But one of the documents that you get access to is this one, AC267SR24. And you see the document code starts again with an A, which means it's a General Assembly document. C.2 refers to the second committee, as the second committee is the one committee that Alina and Laura are in, is the committee that prepares all the holds the substantive debates before the General Assembly, more or less only in the General Assembly plenary. I'm sorry, need to be specific. Quote unquote, only adopts the draft resolutions that have been worked out by the second committee. And one of the agenda items for the second committee is sustainable development. And you can see here actually 9 items, sub-items on the under this agenda item, sustainable development, and most of them will become resolutions on their own. So if you search for Argentina as well, you get the statement made by Ms. Bunge on the debate on agenda item 20, sustainable development, and that is also a quite substantive statement. So for Alina and Laura, it probably makes sense to look at the statement to get a better understanding of where Argentina put its focus in the debate in 2013, and it's probably also a good idea to look up the very newest version of the speech on that subject that the Argentinians gave in 2014.